Hi, guys, and happy Wednesday. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and you are watching your favorite show here at Social Media Shows Network. We are live in real time, and today is obviously a different setup. Normally, you see me standing up and I'm introducing you guys to the show, and we have lots of guests prepared. But today, I decided to just kind of give a little bit of a different vibe, kind of push this episode in a different direction for the sake of entertainment. I feel like I did one episode months and months and months ago, kind of introducing myself. Who am I? Why am I here? What the point is, and why you should be listening to me talk, and what do I have to do, and who am I? Who am I to be interviewing a lot of the people that we have on this show? But that was so long ago, and I didn't have as much time to get into who I really am, what my real story is, and what I've been doing since then. However, today is not going to be a biography. Today is not going to be me having a full-on documentary of me talking about my life, but I kind of wanted to give you a little gist on a journey that I'm going on. Now, a lot of you might already know who I am. You follow me on Instagram, you met me personally through this show or through other jobs, or you've just heard of me through the grapevine, or whatever way that we have come in contact. First of all, thank you for your support. And secondly, you might know that full-time my career is being a fashion model, a film actress, and now, thankfully, and thank you to Maria, I am a TV and red carpet host. Now, I've been doing this for around 15 years, and I have built up a lot of education and training and experience since the beginning times, right? Since I was 15 years old, and it was a dream, but I formulated that into my own business. Now, because of the journey that I've gone through and how it made me come from Chicago all the way to Las Vegas, has not been an easy one. It's not been a glamorous one. It's not been something that I boast about. I might take a lot of pride in what I do and how I got here, but it's not something that I'm talking about. Oh my God, my journey's been amazing. You guys should do it too. It's actually been the opposite. So I'm going to use this episode to give you a little insight on what it's really like, right? We interview here a lot of people in entertainment, although I do say it is not only people for entertainment. We are not subject to people who only do on-camera work or on-stage work or behind the scenes. We also are privy to a lot of people in the business area, the entrepreneurship, all different types of waves of people in Las Vegas, because that's what makes the city what it is. And because of that, no one, I believe, if I remember correctly, has really highlighted the bad of what it's like to be a working artist, no matter if that's physical art, sculpting, drawing, painting, musical art, songwriting, singing, performing, music production, composition, or theater arts, plays, musicals, or even what I do, which is more so down the fashion route and the on-camera route and film and camera work. So, my first question to you guys to start this off is basically, what do we think about when we think about Hollywood? We think about film and movies. We do think about that Hollywood glamorous lifestyle, right? We think about the people that first come to mind. Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, Leonardo DiCaprio, the Kardashians, right? The big A-list stars of our generation as of right now that are still continuously working, or the greats. We think of like Michael Jackson, we think of Prince, we think of people who have really set their name in stone for the public, right? And if you look at all these people, even now, and I can use Britney Spears as an example because she now has a book out. And we can think of all these people we saw in the moment when they were at their peak, right? And we're idolizing them, we're cheering them on, we're picturing them to be a certain way that the media is portraying them to be. And then one day you see something that a tabloid puts out and your view of them instantly goes south, right? Now, as the artist, there's tons of people in their ear that are telling them, you can't say this is what you have to say, you got to issue an apology. It doesn't really matter what's true and what's false, right? It matters about the public opinion because that's what's making the sales, that's marketing. Now, years, decades later, we might hear about these artists' stories. A lot of childhood people have come forward with their experience within entertainment. You see Demi Lovato, you see Miley Cyrus, you see, like I mentioned before, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan. You see all these people, and we're so easy to judge them because you think they have this amazing life with money, opportunities, limelight. They were loved by America at one point or internationally. Why are they talking now? Right? Why 20, 30 years later have they made a drastic change in appearance, or they just fell out of the industry, or they're in hiding, they haven't been doing anything? As a viewer and as a fan, you're probably like, how can someone just get rid of all that? How can they, they had everything, all these things that people say. Now, as someone who, as before mentioned, gone through the ringer, and I don't even consider myself a public figure or well known, but my goal is to eventually make it to the point where I can be considered influential the way an A-lister would be considered influential. I have experienced the backhand of everything. Even until right now, sitting here till this day, I have story after story after story. As artists, though, the stigma by media is to not speak, right? It's not a good image. You're just supposed to go along with it. Everything's about money. Everything's about ego. It's about being what the public wants you to be instead of what you want to be. And I think very young, I had vowed to make sure that I lived a very truthful career, because nothing about my career has been fabricated. It's not been handed to me. It's not been easy. And there have been times when I will tell people situations that I go through. And the thing about that is a lot of people think that I'm exaggerating, right? They think I'm crazy. They think blah, blah, blah. Like, why does this keep happening to you and only you? You're the only one that seems to be going through this. And I think finally, up until maybe a week and a half ago, I had confided in a couple people that I actually truly trust in this business, Maria being one of them. And I had said, would it be crazy to kind of ditch that, media presence of not looking controversial, trying to have a very, just open-minded, very understanding view, making sure that everything that you say is edited and blah, 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 to avoid getting more hate and more drama in my life than I already do, right? That I've not been as vocal as I could be on my social media then, because of those reasons as to, okay, I'm scared that A, B, C, D, E, F, G is going to happen if I talk about this. So I'll wait years, or I'll only pick and choose certain things to expose, right? No names are ever included. And just from like one post a year of me highlighting something unacceptable, it's, why do you care? These are the comments I get. Why do you care? All you do is complain. You shouldn't listen to them. And here my issue with this is that it's not that I don't understand from that person's point of view that, yes, in retrospect, why do I care about tons of hate comments, right? I don't know them. Or, oh, well, you've gotten past it. So yeah, Priscilla, like whatever. But in my head, it's not okay, right? I'm a woman of principle, and I've always been that way, and I don't care who you are. I think there are certain situations that are clearly 100% unacceptable in this industry, and nobody should condone it, and neither should the victim. So, with that being said, I made a couple phone calls, and I've decided that yes, I should be more outspoken, and I've decided to use my YouTube channel and my platform to kind of highlight what my journey has been like since I was 15. It's going to entail a lot of, different episodes, splitting a lot of my experiences up based on certain situations, my journey, the beginnings, the life, what it was like for me. Because when I started doing modeling and acting and wanting to be on camera, this was not 2023. Okay, we're talking like I was a freshman in high school. This was like 2007, right? Early 2000s in my mind. And the industry standards, even though they're hard now, were even worse back then, right? And for retrospect, I am a petite Asian American woman, right? In America, what I do for a living definitely has a beauty standard, and it decides on whether or not you get work just because of my height, my skin color, my age, the measurement of my arm, like things like that all comes down to whether or not I'm worthy of doing what I'm good at doing. So I'm going to be making a lot of episodes focusing on the bad, right? And that's not what anybody wants to hear. It's going to become a whole thing of, oh my God, you should just be grateful. Oh my God, you think your life is hard. I think the reason why I even had to seek people's opinions on whether or not this would be a great idea would be because do I need, right, more SHIT than I already get now for just doing me? And I think that alone, the fact that I realize I'm becoming manipulated by the industry by even thinking that way is the reason why I feel I need to push myself into making videos that formally and respectfully talk about experiences that I've gone through that were not great. And I think 85 to like 90% of the situations I've gone through up until this day are not great. They're like the worst that you can be at, and examples of why people quit or why people get into mental states where they might want to self-harm or do things that are very detrimental to their health. So, an example of this, and this is going to be really quick because I don't want to give everything away, and I don't want this to be too long where you're going to be sitting here being like, why is she still talking? But an example of this would be, this would be very light. Like I told you before, I've been modeling for a very long time, and I take pride in the training that I gave myself when it came to modeling, the seriousness that I view modeling as, which is a craft just as much as any other career is. I'm not saying it's harder than another job, but I'm not saying it's not you standing in front of a camera and someone just takes pictures of you because you were born pretty. That's not what it is, right? There's time, there's effort, there is storytelling in every single photo that you see when you open a magazine. So with that being said, I knew being my stature and being who I am, what God has gifted me since birth, was not wanted by an industry that I so desperately knew that I was destined to be in. It made me work 1,000 times harder than anybody, even probably now, even with Instagram. I'm going to admit, I'm even guilty of it. I can take a really good photo, know a little bit of editing skills, and it's great. You'll get a lot of likes. But when you want to be taken seriously in fashion, especially back in 2007, there's a lot that goes into it. The runway walk, the heels, understanding fashion, understanding business, understanding what the industry sees the minute that you walk in the door. So since then, and for 15 years, I've prided myself into being different, into being a dynamic model, into doing things that other models can't do, so that way it shows that I am marketable. I have the talent. I'm an actual model, right? I've styled my own shoots. I've created my shoots from nothing except hopefully a photographer that is willing to take those photos of me back then to tell my story, to showcase that you don't have to be a certain height or ethnicity or have a certain waist circumference or shoe size or eye color in order to be a model. Again, even though anyone can be a model, not everyone can be a model, because I believe talent and hard work trump physical appearance. So when I moved out here, I had already had over a decade's worth of experience doing that. I was building my name out here when I moved in 2019. And at this point, I had to learn how to have standards in saying no on who I won't work with, what jobs I will and will not do, because it's not about exposure anymore. It's not about TFP. It's not about, we keep doing this for a passion project so people will know you because I have 1,000 followers. It was, to me, I came out here to make a name for myself and make this a full-time job, This is a career for me. I put my whole life's work and training, college degree, all of this into me becoming great one day. And a lot of this has made me get a lot of reactions when I moved out here and posting from people wanting to collaborate with me, being photographers, being filmmakers, being people putting on shows, being fellow models and artists and actors wanting to be my friend and get advice and all this stuff that you have to be able to filter out. Now, not all of these people, not only, first of all, no one is your friend, but secondly, not all of these people are of quality. Now, that sounds harsh because you don't want to be like, oh, you don't have this many followers, therefore you can't be my friend. It's not so much like that. I look for professionalism. I look for quality of work. If you're going to come to me like a filmmaker, like a photographer, but you're not going to have any work to back up your claim, or I deem your work lower standard than I would work with, and you don't like that I'm going to send you my rate to work with me, then it's not going to be an equal partnership. This is not something that I'm looking for. So at one point, someone whose name I'd been seeing on the Facebook groups, on Facebook, blah, 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 had reached out to me saying they appreciate, seeing my stuff all the time. They love my work. It's the best in Vegas, blah, blah, blah. They've been dying to shoot with me, right? Unfortunately, I did not believe that this photographer was at my standards. I didn't need photos at this point. I definitely don't need them now. So when I look to shoot with people, it's either people that I trust that can get the work done and the vision correctly, and also quality work that I will be able to use for comp cards, for my website, for Instagram. We can equally on both sides, not just for you because you want to be seen to work with someone at a level that you deem high, but a collaboration should be mutual. It should be both sides are getting benefits of whatever art that you put together. So I did not believe this with this person. I believed that they could use more work. I believe their mouth was bigger than what they were putting out. I believe that they were very ignorant towards the fact that they could be learning more about their craft of editing and lighting and composition using the camera. And I said, okay, well, these are going to be my rates. The rate at that time I put lower, and this person could not afford this hourly rate. So I said, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I am not taking any TFP at the time. Now, this photographer did not take that very well. He or she did not accept that, let me just put it that way, because of events that had followed. Now, like I said, I pick and choose my TFP very wisely, and especially if they're people that have shown that they are reputable, they are trustworthy, they're credible, and we have a great business partnership. Sure, when they have a creative idea and it's something that I'm interested in, we'll work on it together, blah, blah, blah. Now, this person had stalked me enough to find out where I would be on certain days, with certain photographers. They found out the photographers that I would shoot with and what shoot they were going to be doing soon. And they had reached out to all of these people consistently, and I'm pretty sure this is still happening now, saying, if you get to shoot with her, one, I want to know how you did it, how you got her to agree, and two, I can't, so when you do, let me know the time and place so I can show up and I can shoot with her as well. Luckily at the time, these photographers, when I did go to the shoot, I would find out later, and he just didn't show up. And then they had told me this. Now, I hopefully had the opportunity to be like, hey, if that ever happens, I would hope that you would be professional enough to know that that is extremely uncalled for. If I was not agreeing to shoot with him then, I'm definitely never going to shoot with him now, solely for the fact that he didn't want to take no as an answer. And this goes for all models, all artists. If you did not grant your permission to be shot by someone else's camera, because they're going to own that work, that person should not be there. This is why release forms are signed. This is why there's a lot of things that are signed, because you have not given this person permission to use your likeness or capture your likeness in any sort of way, especially if it's gaining them business, right? And in my mind, this person so desperately wants to shoot with me because it's going to help his credibility in the town. Whether or not I find that the pictures are below quality, they suck, I will never use them, it's horrendous, waste of my time, my outfits, my gas, my mileage, my ideas, right? This is how I think about it from the model standpoint, because they never have ideas. In my experience, a lot of the people that come to me wanting to shoot with me bank off of the fact that they know that I am creative enough to have everything. People know I have a closet that can fill up a mansion, right? I can style outfits like this. I can do my hair, my makeup. I have a car. I do this full time, so I can be available to put it in at any given time. But what the line has to be is, what am I getting out of it? If you can't even bring the one thing that you are claiming you can do, which is quality photos, why in my mind should I be doing this for free, right? Now, not every model has the wardrobe that I do, has the styling mindset that I do, that has the drive on why I need the clothing and the styling and the makeup knowledge and the hair knowledge, because I had to do that in order to even get my photo taken back then. Does that make sense? So when you build up this whole thing and people now are deeming, well, I can't afford to pay you your hourly rate, even if it's $25 to $50 an hour, let's just put that out there, and I can shoot fast and give you probably a couple hundred photos in 1 hour, there's no reason why I should be paying you. Now, after that, I luckily have not come in contact with this person up until recently. This person had appeared on coming into some jobs that I had gotten, whether it be other events, other runway opportunities, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I had no choice because he was the photographer on hand. Now, in between these moments, I think the line of accessibility is broken, which shows me also how professional you are being because of what you will comment on my content, what you will message me on my content. Like, I don't know if it's just not making sense, and I am the type that doesn't like to teach the public why this shouldn't make sense, especially when you're deeming you are equal quality to me in the industry. In my mind, call me a hard butt, but like, no. And this person likes to claim that they've been through the same journey as me, and they're equal to me and all of these things, and I want to highlight this as wrong because there is a definite no standard, I think, since I moved to Las Vegas, and I talked about this on my other show, Strip Tea, where things like this, even though it might seem small compared to other things I've been through, it might just seem kind of like, whatever, like, who cares? Like, he's nothing, whatever. Like, if you have to shoot with him, why does it matter? He's just being nice, blah, blah, blah. Is because in the real world of modeling, of fashion, of media, this would 100% be unacceptable, and this person would be blacklisted. Right? This is how I was trained. This is how it still is. If you did this in New York and you did this at a real New York Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week, you go to Milan. You try to go to a Versace show just because you think you're a good photographer and you're not, and they say no, are you going to throw a fit? There are things that I think the industry is lacking. It's so saturated that situations like this have not only become prevalent and accepted on social media and in Las Vegas, but also in my life, because I don't think my no is acceptable, because people, I think the ego maybe, like, how dare she's the best and she say no to me, who I'm the best. Call me a hard butt all you want, but I think to put yourself in these positions, up until this day, trying really hard to make sure you're in the same place as me to get that opportunity is very, very, very unfair. It is stalkery. It is not accepted. And this is just a little preview of the little things that I deal with every day. Now, I obviously am going to go into more detail with other bigger stories that are going to be on my YouTube channel. Obviously, if you guys know my name, how to spell it correctly, which I will do right now, Prisc, Illa, and the last name is Moy, not May. It's Moy, like boy with an M. You could find me on Instagram. You could find me on Facebook. You could find me on YouTube. You could find me on TikTok, even though I don't enjoy TikTok. I don't like TikTok, but any video I will upload on Instagram will go to TikTok. And you can follow me there, watch my journey, and hopefully understand that when I do talk about certain situations, it's to shed light on what needs to be said as unacceptable and things that should not be condoned, because we are losing the professionality and the business that is on camera work, fashion, film, modeling, entertainment. All of these things. As an artist, we are business people and career driven people just as much as anybody else. And sometimes we might not have protection, just like other people might. However, I'm not under any contract that is voiding me from not using my freedom of speech. So, respectfully, I will be telling stories like this on my YouTube channel. No names will be said, no real places will be said, no, all of those big details and avoidance for me not to get another case on me for other things and protection. And again, human respect, because I'm saying this from my point of view and my experience, but I'm using this as a lesson, as a tool, and as an awareness. So, if you would like to see more about it, know more about me, follow my journey, support me, use words of encouragement, please avoid any hate. Please visit any of my social media channels. Give me a like, give me a follow, and hopefully one day I will meet you here on the hot seat, or we will come in contact in the city doing gigs and or elsewhere. But thank you so much for listening to this special episode of The Hot Seat, where I myself am sitting in it. And I will see you next week here live at the Social Media Shows studio, again on The Hot Seat.